Pay me white people. That is the sentiment that is being passed around right now in many different circles. A lot of people saying that they deserve payment from white people, that they deserve reparations, and I, for one, disagree with it. And I'll tell you why I disagree with it. Number one, you shouldn't have to pay for something that you didn't do. And number two, if you weren't directly affected by it, why should you get paid? This video is going to ruffle some feathers, but I think at the end of the day, we can all come to the same conclusion that atrocities have taken place in the past, and our ancestors, all of our ancestors, regardless of the color of your skin or where you're from or where your grandparents were from, all of them committed atrocities in the past. If you go back far enough, we're all related to someone who was a piece of shit. The reason I wanted to bring this up is twofold. Right now, there are people all over the internet talking about reparations. And in fact, in Australia, the Western Australian government just passed a bill that is going to pay upwards of $85,000 in reparations to citizens. Now, I want to talk about that because it's a little bit different to what we are talking about when it comes to American reparations. But I'll get to that. Also in this video, I want to take a very quick look at a case that happened just recently where a woman was sent to 5 years jail for ending the life of a man. And it's a pretty crazy story to consider that someone would only get 5 years jail for literally ending someone's life. Would it have happened if it was the other way around? Absolutely not. There would have been outrage and uproar, but we didn't see any. To really begin this video and jump right into the deep end, I wanted to show you this lady. Her name is Leah V. She's been seen in the New York Times and BuzzFeed and Vogue, and she's the 3 Fs, fat, fun, and fashion, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm excited to hear all about her because she's got something to say about white people and how much they should pay her. But before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, so I can get paid, here is the sponsor of today's video. It's Sheath Underwear. It is the best underwear on planet Earth and possibly other dimensions and planets, and I'm currently wearing them right now. I know that's a disgusting picture, but enjoy it for just a second. That's enough. Everyone's gone through underwear that you don't like. It's too tight, it's crap, it's horrible, it's awful. That's not Sheath. Sheath is the most comfortable underwear that I've ever worn in my life. Their boxers are beyond belief. They've got this little pouch in the front that you can stick your little chicken nuggets in, right? And by that I mean balls. You can put chicken nuggets in it, I imagine, as well, a bit of sweet and sour sauce. But you can put your little balls in there and you can separate your balls and your pecker. Everyone's happy, ladies and gentlemen. You got to get these Sheath underwear, I'm telling you right now. I guarantee they're going to be the most comfortable pair of boxer briefs that you've ever owned in your entire life. They're made from materials like bamboo and mesh to give you heaps of cooling and comfort and avoid crotch rot. That's right, very important. Go to sheath.com right now, ladies and gentlemen, to get the most comfortable underwear on earth. And if you use the promo code Butterfield, you get 20% off your order. How good is that? That's sheath.com with the code Butterfield, ladies and gentlemen, for 20% off. Now, back to the video. Okay, so Leah V. So she posts a lot of things about body positivity and all those things that we just absolutely love, okay? Basically, it's just content like this. Hey, I was super focusing on my cellulite on my legs, but I'm practicing posting things that make me uncomfortable. I don't know, maybe seeing my fat legs will help someone feel good about their cellulite. By the way, tickets are on sale right now for my American shows. Go and grab them at isaacbutterfield.com. But why I wanted to talk about her was this post. It came up on my Instagram, and it is a beautiful photo of her. She looks like a fucking linebacker in a big gold room. And it says, "Dear white / non-black / male followers, pay me reparations." Adding a thirst trap for the algorithm. Is that really a thirst trap? Whatever. No donation is too small. And then thankfully she goes into more detail about why she deserves money for just being a black lady. Okay. And it's fantastic. I noticed that I give a lot to the internet. Do you? The world to you, free of charge. Fuck, you are fucking incredible, isn't it? Rosa Parks is sitting on the bus going, bravo. I don't charge for my content, thank Christ. I don't do paid subscriptions. I don't put my content behind a paywall. If you're referring to that particular website, thank fuck for that. And high key, high key? Is that the opposite of low key? Is that a thing now? I absolutely should be paid for my work, my creativity, and my activism. Every black artist should be paid for their art. You should be paid for your art if you deserve it. End of fucking story. You fucking victim. We all sit back and consume black bodies for free. Call me Jeffrey Dahmer with a taste for high melanin content then. I had a whole breakdown from being bullied, being demonetized on Meta, and just how the world hates black women, do they? Okay, if you say so, babe. That I needed to start looking up wellness retreats so I can heal myself from the trauma. But it goes on. And then I thought, how will I pay for a black-owned wellness retreat that I desperately need? My community and the allies of the page. So if you consume my content, send me a donation for my wellness retreat. Oh my God. A meal, a nails, a massage, or gas for my car. Send reparations now. No donation is too small. This is coming from someone with 97,000 followers. 97,000 people have decided to follow this woman, and this is the type of shit that she's churning out. This is a victimhood mentality that the world is stacked against you. She will never get out of this. She'll pass it down to her children and her children's children, and it is quintessentially a terrible lesson in life. These people will always feel like they are lesser, and that is just plain fucking awful. We are all born with differences, black, white, whatever, arms off, legs off, fucked heads, bald, allegedly. Mate, we just have to get past that shit and just keep moving forward. Don't beg for money. Christ. But you know what? Maybe she does post incredible content that we should pay for. Like this. She showed off how beautiful her back cleavage is and she got 500,000 views and got paid $657. Wow. You go, girl. Now, we can all laugh at this lady, but there are very angry people out there who are pushing the message of reparations as well.
Who picked cotton? Us! My skin! My ancestors! Who built the buildings? Mexicans! Who planted rice? The Asians!
And would you ever get pegged?
Important questions. Okay, so we've seen this in America right now with the riots and whatnot that's going on. People they're angry, and they're mainly angry at white people. And it seems that reparations is one of these big conversations that always seems to come up around events like this, or just on social media in general. Now, here's the problem with reparations. If you are going to pay someone for something that didn't happen to them and happened to their ancestors, you should pay a lot of people. Because not only were African American people and their ancestors who were taken from Africa and sold by Africans to America, not only were they treated like absolute shit and they were slaves, but so were a fuck ton of white people in Northern Africa. And all of those white people who existed as slaves in Northern Africa, which outnumbered vastly the slaves in America, those people have relatives that are alive now. Should they all be paid? Should they have a fund? Should they receive some sort of reparations? What if I went back far enough and I realized that I had slavery or someone was a slave? Should I receive that money? Of course not. It is ridiculous. It is unnecessary, except for this. In Western Australia, their Premier or Governor has announced that people from the stolen generation, meaning that the government back in, I think it was from the 30s through to like the 60s, a lot of young children, Aboriginal children, the Indigenous people of Australia, they were taken from their families and given to white families, taken, literally stolen, kidnapped, and given to these people. Now, what the government there is doing is survivors of the stolen generation in Western Australia will be compensated through a state government redressing scheme, offering payments of up to $85,000. And this brings Western Australia in line with every other Australian state and territory. In Victoria, they were giving around $100,000 to Aboriginal people, which means they are more sorry, which is nice, to those families who had children forcefully removed. Now, what I will say about this is it is completely different to paying someone a handful of money, like the lady at the start, Laura V, or whatever her fucking name was. It's different to paying her for her ancestors' pain, because the Western Australian government is paying the people who were actually affected by this. They had their lives uprooted. They had their lives ruined, changed, never got to know their families because of a decision from the government that turned out to be completely racist. Now, in the stolen generation, there were families that had kids taken away that probably deserved to have their kids taken away. I know that's a horrible thing to say, but it happens today, right? With white people, brown people, all people. Some kids need to be taken away from the homes because the families are crazy. Now, I'm sure that happened back in the day, but the stolen generation wasn't really that. It was just a blanket rule of we take black kids, and that's horrific, right? So to pay them 50 years later, 30 years later, 60, 70, whatever it was, whenever it was, doesn't seem like an outrageous thing to do at all. They've had their lives completely changed and destroyed. And I think, and you may disagree with me, and I'd like to know arguments as to why this shouldn't happen, but I think it is not only the right thing to do, I think it is probably pretty just. You know, these people have missed out on so much in their lives because of a horrific government decision. Why shouldn't they be compensated? But it is completely different to paying people for their ancestors. It is chalk and cheese. It's a whole different argument. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to continue this video, so please stay with me. This is a story about Lauren Brown. She was jailed over fatally, of her partner, James Shealy, during an argument in Perth. Now, we all know that when a man ends the life of a woman, I have to be careful what I say on YouTube, it is horrific. And you hear a lot about it in the media, and there's marches through the streets, and people are very, very angry, and rightfully so. Women shouldn't be attacked by men, but I will also say that no one should be attacked by anyone, and women shouldn't attack men. Now, I don't know what happened in this story, but the fact of the matter is this. Somebody's life was ended, and somebody only got a very short prison term. A Perth woman who was pregnant when she her partner of 5 months in their apartment has been sentenced to more than 5 years jail. Earlier this year, a jury found that Lauren Brown, 29, guilty of manslaughter of James during a heated argument in September 23. Now, Brown goes on to say that this was actually self-defense on her part, and the dude who eventually passed away was attacking her, and because she was pregnant with her son, she defended herself. In sentencing, Justice Joseph McGrath said the pair's relationship had deteriorated in the lead up to Mr. Shealy's passing, and there was an escalation of animosity on the night. In the midst of the physical altercation, Brown pepper sprayed her partner, and I've been talking about pepper spray on this channel, why more women should have it, and then him in the chest. Okay, so the judge then goes on to say that they accept that she was defending herself, and her response, though, was excessive and unreasonable, and that's why she got 5 years. Interesting. Okay, so you wouldn't really think that was the story based on what the headline was, but maybe this was actually just. The story itself goes on to say that there was a history of violence throughout the young lady's life, and of turbulent and deprived childhood. But is it okay to use a knife on someone that's attacking you? Well, maybe. Hang on a second. I've just fast forwarded. This is the article. It's completely different from the Daily Mail. Perth mum-to-be, Lauren Brown, that thing, her FIFO, fly-in, fly-out worker, which is like a mining dude in Australia, lover, James Shealy, passing away after he offered her $52,000 a year not to sleep with any other men. What? A pregnant mother fatally her jealous lover after he offered her $1,000 not to see other men. Oh my God. Mr. Shealy made Brown the cash offer to quit her job as an escort and move in with him. There she is there. You can tell by the eyebrows she's fucking mad. Okay, so I don't know what to take it, because I've read two very different articles here. Now, the claim in court was that it was manslaughter and it was in defense of herself. However, the court heard that Mr. Shealy was a regular victim of Brown's violent outbursts. The female, right? That's Brown. The couple's former housemates once saw Mr. Shealy barricade himself inside the bedroom to hide from her. Brown responded by kicking a hole in the door and crawling through it to resume her attack on him. This does not seem like the same fucking article I read through the ABC website beforehand. I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of this. I feel like this needs to be spoken about a little bit more. I think there needs to be a little bit more of a look into what's actually happening here, because it seemed like, I don't know, maybe he attacked her. I don't know. Obviously, it's a horrible situation, but it sounds like, and maybe he was an aggressor at another stage in the relationship. I've got no fucking idea. But from what I'm reading here, and I've scrolled through the whole thing, I've read the whole thing, it seems like they were in a very volatile relationship, but she is definitely not to blame. And 5 years for ending someone's life seems pretty fucking insane. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. We dig stinks. Toodaloo au revoir. Bye-bye.